Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget, very important people, we are live tomorrow. First live of the year. Looking forward to it. We start at 7 p.m. We'll go for about an hour, hour and a half, depending upon how many questions come in. But it should be busy. There's quite a lot to talk about. Loads of fights in January. Tyson Fury's comeback. What's Alexander Usyk doing calling out Deontay Wilder? Get your questions in. I will try my best to answer all of them as honestly as possible. 7 p.m. All right, let's have a look and see what there is to talk about today before we talk about Dalton Smith bidding to become a world champion. Good luck to Dalton. This is an interesting fight. Brandon Adams, Kevin Ajagbo have reached a deal to have an IBF final eliminator in April. That's a big step up, I think, for Kevin Ajagbo. Obviously coming off that good Ishmael Davis win, and it was a good win. I like Kevin. I think he's a good boxer. Brandon Adams, though, is a bit of a killer. You go and watch his fight against Boychuk. I mean, this guy can fight. He's almost one of the super welterweights on the outside looking in. But every time he gets an opportunity, he does cause a bit of a problem. But it's a good fight. You have to take these step-ups. I mean, you can't always just be skirting around sort of fringe European level. Are you good enough to take that next step? And I guess we'll find out if Kevin Ajagbo is good enough. Oh, this is interesting. Fabio Wardley says there have been conversations about facing Derek Chisora. No, thank you. No, thank you. I do not want Derek to take on a savage puncher like that in Derek's last fight. No. I know I've been saying Derek versus Deontay, so I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself. But at this stage of Wardley's career, I think he hits harder right now than Deontay does. I almost want to see Chisora take on one of his peers. So someone in and around that age bracket, which is why I wasn't mad at the Dillian White fight. I know Dillian isn't what he once was, but nor is Derek. I'm not mad, as I said, at the Wilder fight. This fight I don't like. Derek will like it because it's a chance of him becoming world champion. Derek will like it because it's a big fight. I think Fabio's put himself out there now as one of the big draws when it comes to UK boxing, at least in the heavyweight division. But yeah, not for me. Do not like it at all. All right, Dalton Smith has to resist falling into Subriel Matias' trap. That ain't going to be easy. I know a load of you are sending me a message about the fact that this hasn't sold out. It's nowhere near selling out. I don't really care about all that stuff. Once the fight's on, the fight's on. I don't really look and think, oh, there's a bit of an empty seat area over there, or it doesn't matter to me anymore. Would it have done better if it was in the UK? Yeah. I do think it would have done good numbers up in Sheffield. But Matchroom did put in a big bid. I saw someone on Twitter the other day saying Matchroom have lost out by not getting Dalton this world title fight in the UK. Sometimes you just have to go where you have to go. And I think Matchroom did enough. A 1.7, I think it was $1.7 million bid that Matchroom put in. And Fresh Promotions put a bid in for 1.9 million. I mean, come on. I mean, even if Matchroom's bid was accepted, Matchroom, I think, would have made a big loss on this fight. 1.7 million is very, very big. And they probably would have thought they would have won with that kind of bid. So they were willing to back their guy. Someone just came in with a bid which I think is a bit crazy. I really do. And I think that will be proven by the lack of pay-per-view buys. And again, as people have pointed out, the fact that this is nowhere near selling out the BARCLAYS. So someone's making a big loss on this. But Matchroom, I think, were prepared to make a loss, because I think they view Dalton as a potential star of the future. I like this fight a lot. Removing all the negative energy, obviously the Subriel Matias PD issue, which you guys know how I feel about that. I think I've mentioned it a lot. I don't think this fight should go ahead. I think there needs to be more looked at. But I'm hoping Dalton Smith and his team have looked at everything and they've been given the tick that this is okay. But the New York State Athletic Commission, which in the past has been one of the tougher commissions. But removing all that stuff, stylistically, this is a fantastic fight. It is. And for Dalton, this is a case of, let's see. Let's just see if you are what a lot of people have been saying you're going to be for the last 3 or 4 years. And I love how Dalton's done it the traditional route. Most fighters don't do that anymore. Most fighters, if they're good enough, they kind of skip a few rungs on the ladder. Dalton's done everything the right way. English champion, British champion, Commonwealth champion, European champion. The next step is world champion. My only issue with that is I would have preferred, after he became European champion, I would have preferred maybe a couple of fights against fringe world level guys before taking on someone that is most definitely world level in Subriel Matias. Just so I know, and maybe just so he knows. Those fights are risky, but sometimes I do think when Brits fight abroad, they almost take too many jumps before they have a world title shot. Do you know what I mean? And I always feel like I would like to have seen Dalton have one, maybe two more before sort of going for a world title. But again, he's done it the right way. He's ticked all the boxes. He's looked really good in winning those titles, English, again, British, Commonwealth, and European. I think Dalton is very good at everything. When I look at Dalton, I think he has got good power. 18 fights, 13 knockouts. That's good power, right? I think he's got a really good jab. I think his timing's good. I think he's really big and strong at the weight. I think he's got good speed. So what we need to know is he exceptional at any of those 5 or 6 categories I just listed off? Because he might have to be exceptional when it comes to Saturday night at the Barclays. Because people, I was ringside for Subriel Matias versus Alberto Puello. And Subriel Matias don't stop. He's a fucking whirlwind. He doesn't stop. There was times in that fight where Puello was on top. I actually thought Puello might have won that fight, by the way. But there were times in that fight where Puello was on top and you're thinking, oh, he's going to get to Subriel now. Subriel's gas tank has finally sort of caught up with him and it's on the way down. And he just finds something and he just switches it around and it's fucking punches and bunches. And nothing, it's not like he's got this power where it stops you in your tracks. It's just, it doesn't stop. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not punching with 90% power once, like a Wilder, for example. He's punching with 60 to 70% power 20, 30 times. It's relentless. And I only think the only way to stop him is to knock him out. Hasn't been knocked out. I know Eddie said about a month ago that he thinks Dalton knocks him out. I don't know, you know. I think this is one of those where Dalton's going to have to go to the well and find something that we haven't seen before. Again, like why I say, is he exceptional at something? He might have to meet fire with fire, but he also might have to retreat a couple of times and just fucking take a gulp of air to keep going. Honestly, guys, go and watch. I mean, look, Liam Parrow is the obvious thing to go and watch, right? How Liam Parrow got the win. It was a big win in Subriel Matias' backyard. That's it. Watch that. But every time he does suffer a defeat, he comes back and wins 3 or 4. Like, he's... Man, this is a tough ask. And I did say this yesterday, I think, on a video. It should be tough. Like, sometimes I look at... And look, I mean, being a world champion is respect in itself, but there are some world champions you look at and you kind of got it easy a little bit, you know. This is one of those where if Dalton were to become a world champion, you've done it the fucking hardest way. I don't think Subriel's the best 140. That lies with Teofimo Lopez, but he's definitely one of the best at 140 pounds. And Dalton's looking to jump into shark-infested waters, and let's see if he has it. And sometimes that's what it's about, right? Like, you can always kind of, you know, look after these fighters and, you know, you match make them safely just so they get to a respectable number. Sometimes you just got to let them go. And I think Eddie's done that quite a lot recently. I know a lot of people digged him last year because a lot of these prospects lost. I remember he put a few guys in and they just lost. And I've spoken to Eddie about this. It's almost a case of, well, let's just see then, innit? I mean, how long can you fucking cuddle them and just look after them? Sometimes you just got to let them go. And I think this is it with Dalton. They tried to get the fight in Sheffield. They couldn't. Do you want to become a world champion? Yes. Subriel Matias has the belt. You got to go to the Barclays and beat him. And I likened it to Kell Brook, who had most of his fights in the UK, if not all of them. And all of a sudden he had to go to America and beat Sean Porter for the IBF. He did it and his stock rose. Dalton's will rise as well. And Dalton has a chance to be in massive fights. I mean, you look at who's at 140. So many names. So many names. And with that WBC belt, with Matchroom, with Eddie, he has a chance to kind of put himself in a position where he's in big fights after big fight after big fight. I think he nicks it. Maybe this is a bit of British bias. I do think he nicks it. I do think Subriel can be reckless. And that's what happens sometimes when you're punching in bunches, right? You can leave yourself open. And I do think Dalton has the awareness to counter him when he does throw with reckless intention. I do think Dalton can maybe sit on the back foot a little bit and just counter him. Honestly, I do think that. And I do think Dalton's got the size and the power to be able to push him back a little bit as well and bully him a little bit. But it ain't going to be easy, people. But look, I wish Dalton the best of luck. I think his dad, trainer Grant, is a great trainer, and I'm sure they've come up with a good game plan. Remember, this fight was earmarked for November. Do you guys remember that? It was earmarked. It was supposed to be on the undercard of Benavidez Yard. So now they've had a bit more time to kind of, refine this game plan and make sure they can get the job done. It's not like we don't need world champions over here. Nick Ball is a world champion. Fabio Wardley is, but obviously that belt was upgraded or given to him. Same with Jazza Dickens, and this isn't sort of digging those guys out. However you get a world title, get a world title. But this is what Dalton's doing, is trying to win one in a fight, which is obviously different from what Fabio and Jazza did. So good luck to Dalton, and bring that belt home, and then let's start this Adam Azim super fight talk. All right, expect Dmitry Bivol back soon versus his mandatory Michael Eifert. Never heard of that guy before. I wonder what belt that is mandated for. That was his manager saying that, by the way. Bivol's manager. I just want to see Bivol back. And in big fights. See, things like this, like these type of mandatories. At Bivol, at the stage of Bivol's career, I just don't want to see these fights. What's Bivol? 30... Was he 35, 36? And it was one fight last year, wasn't it? Was it one or was two? Was it two? No. Yeah, one fight last year against Beterbiev. Two the year before that. One the year before that. He's just not busy enough, is he? Just not busy enough, man. It's the reason I had... Jesse Bam Rodriguez jumping him in the pound for pound rankings. So for me, it's Usyk, Inoue, Jesse, and then Bivol. Bivol's just not busy enough. And fights like this just don't excite me. I mean, I'm always excited to see my man in the ring, but I need to see him in big fights. Do you know what I mean? And there are big fights out there for him. Viddal Riley searching for fight with missing Alois Jr. Viddal's just playing here because Alois wants that fight. Viddal wants that fight. Things like this always come down to pounds and pence. It's not easier. I think it's been made harder now that Viddal's with Misfits. He's with Misfits Pro. He had the opportunity to sign, obviously, with Matchroom and Queensbury. He decided to sign with Misfits Pro. Can they put the money together? I think they can to get Alois over there. Obviously, it would have been a lot easier if he signed with Queensbury. It's an in-house fight. It can be made quite comfortably. We'll see. Viddal just needs to fight. Viddal hasn't fought since Chef Clark fight. It's a long time ago, man. It's a really long time. We just need to see him busy. But I think that's a really good fight. I like it. All right. Anything else? There is a bit here about AJ and his uncle saying that AJ is going to retire. Until AJ says it, I think we should just... take anything that comes out about AJ, take with a pinch of salt unless AJ says it. Everyone's making fucking videos talking about what's AJ going to do. Wait till AJ says something and then we'll know. I hope he fights again, but again, who knows, people. What else have we got? I think... Okay, last bit. Frank Sanchez, Richard Torres Jr. purse bid delayed. Both sides, though, are hopeful of a deal. I've seen something about this potentially going on the Barrios Garcia card as a chief support. And there's a lot of talk about Barrios Garcia now being on PBC as opposed to DAZN. Obviously, everyone would have thought Ryan Garcia's fights have been on DAZN for, I don't know, the last 6 or 7 at least, right? Have been big, apart from Tank. Was that on both platforms? I can't remember. But let's just say it wasn't. Every other fight's been on DAZN. Looks like this one will go to PBC and Frank Sanchez, Richard Torres. I mean, Frank Sanchez has been begging for a fucking fight of anyone. Like anyone, literally anyone. He can't get it. He literally has gone down the list. You know, Talma, no. Dubois, no. Even though Dubois kind of said yes, now it's a no. And Richard Torres. I mean, Richard Torres could knock him out. Like, Frank Sanchez is a very, very good boxer who, on his day, could probably beat anyone. But that's on his day. Like, I think everyone's very hyped about him. I was ringside when Cabiel, like, broke him down. So, I don't know the fear factor with Frank Sanchez. I mean, he's good. I'm not trying to say he's not good, but he's not as good as everyone thinks he is, I don't think. So, and I think Richard Torres might show that. I will caveat that by saying it did look like he might have gone into the ring with an injury against Cabiel, but, I mean, you speak to a lot of these fighters, all of them go into the ring with injuries. So I'm not sure why everyone's running away from Frank Sanchez. Anyway, we'll see. Guys, girls, we are live tomorrow, 7 p.m. I will see you then.